Meeting to order.
Jenkins.
Here.
Morse.
Here.
Hardin.
Here.
Hesbury.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 3 public comments that I'm going to move to the preliminary matters. I'm going to call them in order, at least in which I think I received them. I do know that Paul Lamb, you turned yours in first, so you have the floor.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've been up here, but the last time I was here, I believe we had a gentleman standing here giving a report in regards to our police department and what matters need to be taken care of. Unfortunately, from what I understand, we've lost Chief Deno. Is that correct? Or is he still able to come back?
He is no longer an employee of the city of Farmer City.
Okay, does he get a severance package or anything?
That's a personnel matter which cannot be discussed.
Okay, even though he's an employee of the city.
He's no longer an employee of the city.
Okay. The other thing is, you guys getting a lot of heat out there in the public. And I'm sorry to say, but you're becoming the butt of the jokes out there, and I don't know how you guys are going to straighten that out. But anyway, the next one to go, are you guys after the city manager now? Are we going to be replacing him?
It's not on my radar.
Okay. Well, neither was the last one that I knew of. Okay. So who's full-time chief of police now?
We currently do not have one. We are looking for an intern. The applications are due by January 20th.
And you got those advertised for out?
Yes, it is advertised currently, yes, sir.
Okay, how many we got on the police force right now? 2? 3?
Well, you have quite a few part-timers, but yes, you have 3.
Okay. I was just a little concerned about it. I'm always seeing the cars parked out next to the side view, never being moved. So I didn't know if that was going to be taken care of or not.
Yes, sir. With as much expediency as we can.
Yeah, okay. So as far as the city is concerned, we've still got a police force that can take care of the situations around here?
Obviously, we need more officers, and we need to get a chief in place.
Okay. All right, well, I hope you guys done the right thing. I don't know the circumstances behind him being let go, but I think we lost a pretty good officer. So.
Mr. Lamb, thank you very much.
Yes, you're
Thank
welcome.
you, sir. The next public comment is from Don Brackenhoff. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you. Well, my subject is approximately the same. I've prepared a letter which I will read, and then I will give you copies of the letter.
Thank you, sir.
The subject is Andy Deno and related issues. I live at, my name is Don Brackenhoff. I live at 521 West High Street in Farmer City, and I've been a resident for the past 30 years. I'm a retired Air Force officer with over 22 years of service to my country. I served on the Blue Ridge School Board of Education for nearly 9 years, from 92 to 01, the time during which we built our new high school. I try to live by the credo of duty, honor, and country, the cornerstone of which is integrity, based on the credo of the Judeo-Christian ethic. I first met Andy Deno in the early 90s when he was head of the ambulance service. And throughout the ensuing 25 plus years, I have found him to be a man of integrity and purpose. He has served our little town faithfully in several different capacities for many years, the last being our chief of police. I was personally shocked to see the cavalier way in which he was treated by you with his recent dismissal as chief. I have yet to hear any reason revealed by you for his abrupt dismissal. I was also shocked to see how your so-called investigation into his handling of our police department by another small-town police chief, who I have been told is a friend of one of you, which I have no way of confirming that, but as you should know, if an inquiry of this nature were needed, it should have been done by the Illinois State Police, and not some local police chief of similar status to Andy. As for the investigation itself, I have yet to find anyone who was asked to provide input. And I'm one of them that was not asked. The whole affair smacks of it being a witch hunt. And in my mind, calls into question the integrity of the very people who deemed this to be necessary. Namely you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, and members of the City Council. For this reason, I am asking, under the auspices of the Freedom of Information Act, for all information that you have pertaining to this. I am asking for the minutes of all meetings, both open and closed, at which this matter was discussed. I am also requesting all info pertaining to the report of the police chief who conducted this so-called investigation, to include the individuals who were spoken to and what the comments of these people were. I also request any input that had been given to you by our DeWitt County Sheriff. You owe it to Andy Deno and the citizens of Farmer City to reveal the real reasoning and motivation behind your actions. And I anxiously await your response to what I have said and the request for info that I have made. Finally, as a taxpayer of Farmer City, can we expect a wrongful termination lawsuit as a result of your actions? Also, is it legal for a part-time police officer to act as chief of police? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for your service. The next person to have the floor is Jerry McKinley.
Okay, I've been up there several times talking about this,
Yes, sir.
and Jessica, I want to show you this, because you're the one that questioned me last time
That the receipts you gave me were awful.
that my property's in the city limits.
I didn't question you. I questioned your $100 trip to Clinton.
That's twice.
Yeah. And lunch and...
Okay. They worked on the tile, they got part of it done, the way I feel. But Scott tells me that when the big rains come and the tile that drains over into the ditch, or the other tile, that their water stands in their lot. You know, when that tile was put in, it was put in when that was still farm ground where the chemical plant sat. And the tile that they ran out to, it's not big enough to take care of. So they're having a pond stay in their property till it gets drained down. They did find what was wrong, and the tile that comes through my property and stuff. Found some old bones or something like that in there, wasn't it?
That's what I heard.
He reported into you guys, right?
Bones and tree roots.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And he says he's got that all cleaned up, but it's where the Heartland Chemicals tile ties in. The tile going through there isn't big enough now. It's not farm ground anymore. And so Are you gonna work on that in the springtime?
That's an 18-inch tile, it ought to take quite a bit of rain. That's what's on our property.
That's on, yeah, but the other tile isn't.
I don't know how big that tile
Yeah.
is. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's right, you know, you're taking all that water and shoving it into that smaller tile.
I don't know the answer. I mean,
Well, you just
That doesn't
don't have-
I mean, we haven't had any rain to see if it's draining.
Yeah, I haven't had none here lately.
no.
But it just, I mean, when it was farm ground, it was okay. But when they built, commercialized it and everything, the city should have kept up. I mean, it's not your guys' fault, it just, they didn't keep up with it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
The next thing that we have on this evening's agenda is the consent agenda.
Make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Demars?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Testori?
Yes.
Motion carries.
There being no unfinished business, we move to section 3, new business.
Make a motion to open discussion for the 2017 Heritage Days Beer Garden.
I don't even think we have to motion that, you just begin the discussion, so.
All right.
Did you have a report, request, anything?
Well, we would like it exactly like it was last year.
You're talking about the beer garden
Uh-huh.
to
All the same rules and, dimensions and everything. It worked last year really good, and we'd like to keep it again this year.
what do we need to do that? I mean, do they have, because my understanding is that's the, that was a one-time issuance of that license, so they have to do another request for the license, and then the request comes for us, and then
Right.
we vote on approving it. Have you filled out the request form yet?
For what?
You have to
The one
request
day.
the one-day liquor license, have you?
Yeah, the bartender, or our bar owners are here.
Okay.
Have you guys filled out anything?
Nobody has,
No, I've not
first
seen
heard about it.
I've not seen one yet.
Did they fill out a request form
Yes.
last time?
They'll have
One
to,
day.
right.
Can we make a request available for them, and then?
I understood that
2
we had
days.
to have your permission, and once we have your permission, then they'll fill out the forms.
Because we had to have the resolution passed in order to
Oh, to get the
proceed,
form,
to proceed with the forms. We've got to,
Well, on this evening's agenda before me, it just says discussion, so there's no
We asked
No
for
action
resolution.
tonight.
there's no
because-
action.
Because tonight was any discussion on how, what do you want us to do with it? Are we to come back
I didn't know if
at
they had
the
any-
next meeting with
Anybody
a
object
resolution
to
for
it
this?
or change? Or...
Well, I'd like to see a resolution for, if there's any objection, I'd like to do that during the time that the resolution is actually before us. I don't have any objection to
Voting tonight?
doing it. Yeah, no, I don't have any objection to having a resolution at the next
I
meeting
don't think they can add
to do
it
this.
tonight. If it's what
I have no problem with this. That's
No,
just my
there's-
stance.
I don't think there's a problem here.
Okay, so then all we have to do is the guys have to fill out the forms and that we can get from Sandy? And then we're all good to go?
2 weeks.
Well, I can
to
get
approve it.
that
How did that take place last year? They come to you for a form, is that correct, Sandy? They fill out the form, turn it in to you, is that correct?
They had to
You
get a
bring-
local,
you-
they had to get a local liquor license to be able to do that.
Yeah, and you bring it to us and we approved it, is
Yes,
that right?
that's what we did last year.
That's what we need to do.
So, see, I don't remember it that.
We came and got our resolution approved, and then we filled out the form.
Do you guys
signed it,
remember?
and then we went to the state.
form had to be created.
So we need it from 54 to Water Street.
Exactly the way it was last year.
54 to Water Street, yes.
That'll have to be
I'm
stated.
sure I have a copy of of what it was.
Yeah, there were-
Oh, yeah, I have a copy at home too, I just never thought about
And
it.
then you've got a copy of the form we filled out also.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got copies of everything.
We can put it on.
Last year we had to get it created. There was
Is
not
there any-
such a form.
From the council, is there any discussion? Any roadblocks immediately that? you know, for Heritage Days. I mean,
Well,
Not from me.
So the beer garden is approved, and we just have to.
We just have some paperwork to,
Yeah,
there's no objections up here.
No, the beer garden is not approved until you actually
Fill out
say
the
yes.
paperwork, and the liquor commissioner, who is the mayor, has to sign it.
Yeah, so I mean, once the resolution is
We're
approved,
okay
I'll
with it,
sign
it's
it,
just
and
not
then it will
really-
be approved. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so when are we doing the resolution?
we can put it on, I'll tell
There
you
may
what, I'm
not
gonna
be
put it
a
in.
need to have any resolution if there's no change requested.
Yeah, no, we
If
want
it's
no
the same-
changes.
dates, just the dates.
There's the dates.
Just the dates will be different.
So at the next meeting.
At the next meeting, 2 weeks.
So can we, in 2 weeks, can these guys have their application and give it to you the same day?
No, we need to turn it in before.
Yeah, it's not a problem to pick it up, as soon as it's available.
You have to pass the resolution, then they can come in the next day after the resolution's passed.
Once the resolution is passed, then it becomes a license that I sign. And it's just a matter of me signing.
But it doesn't take a resolution to get the form, correct?
No, you should be able to get the form. We'll have to, Sandy will have to update that form.
Yeah.
You'll update the form in the next probably day or so. Then can you reach out to them and contact them, tell them that the form is ready? You'll come up, get the form, fill it out, and then we'll have the resolution on the next meeting, whenever that one is going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
that's no problem.
very good. Was there any other further discussion here? Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, moving on.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2017-1, the intergovernmental agreement with Blue Ridge School District.
That's it.
Discussion.
We've had this agreement before. This allows us to go up there and salt if they give us a call. It's a pretty simple agreement. You see that we're not held liable for any damages to any of the surfaces up there, and obviously we have to have the available salt. So
Which those guys, I'm just gonna say, when they do that, they have people coming in there pretty early, 7 o'clock, so.
yeah, but we don't do it without their call. So they have to call.
So somebody, then
From the school.
let them know that they need, because I had never heard that before.
Yeah, somebody from the school has to call.
Okay.
That's what it says. I mean, very good. Any other discussion? Yes,
Okay, this afterwards.
call it.
Morris,
Yes.
Hardin,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Testori,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
motion carries.
Make a resolution, or make a motion to approve resolution 2017-2, amending the resolution 2016-34 on the 2017 meeting dates.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
I actually made this request,
Okay.
and had emailed with these guys, to see if we could add the second meeting to January and February, to address any other needs. If there isn't any, then that's fine, short meetings are okay with us, but, seems to wait a month, sometimes they seem to gather up and the people ask us questions and we have no answers, and it's tough to figure out stuff, so we're just adding 2 meetings, so the next one's in 2 weeks instead of a month.
I went along with her on this. I think at this time we have a lot of issues we're dealing with, and I think we need to meet a couple times a month.
I agree also.
Call it.
Hardin,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Testori,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
motion carries.
Make a motion to go into executive session, 5 Illinois CS 120/2C11, pending or probable or imminent litigation.
And you need to state the rationale, the basis, and the basis is that an attorney representing former police chief Deno has threatened to bring suit on Deno's behalf against the city of Farmerston. That's part of your motion, Mr. Testori.
Thank you, I didn't have that on my paper here.
That's fine, that's fine.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Call it.
Kelly,
Yes.
Testori,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yep.
DeMars,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
motion carried.
We're going now back in open session, and we move on to other items, the city manager's report.
Just got a couple things here, folks. If you see that there was a request for a Class F liquor license down at the Fish Wagon. According to the local ordinances, the way that they're written, that alcohol cannot be sold in there by itself. It has to be complemented with a meal. The mayor signed off on that, so now it's up to them. They brought in all the proper paperwork, bonding and everything. Ted Reynolds did do some digging up there on that tile that Mr. McKinley was in here about. The original estimate came in at $3,000. He did some extensive digging up there. The total bill was $6,200. There was a large animal bone that was photographed and some bald tree roots in that particular tile. There again, don't know if it's going to work until we start getting some rains. So we'll have to assume for the best there. You see that I noted, Scott Kelly had asked me about this, so I noted that the 2006 Impala squad car does need to be replaced. It's got an excess of 120,000 miles on it, and we've documented about $3,000 worth of repairs that needs for that. So I don't know what you folks are going to want to do with that. It's got some major issues with it. Applications continue to be received for both police chief and patrolman. Applications are being accepted until January 20th. I've asked former Champaign Police Chief R.T. Finney to assist with the narrowing of the candidates. For the police chief, R.T. Finney is a member of the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, if you remember correct. I had stated before that we'd be working with them. I'll keep you informed very much on how this plays out. And then and you also see that, and we had a little bit of discussion about this before, I've reached back out to Randy Meyer. Randy Meyer is the owner of Meyer Oil Company. He owns all the Mach 1 stations in the area. He's shown a high interest in our property out there on I-74. Today I was in contact with Cobblestone Hotels. They're out of Wisconsin. Cobblestone Hotels will be in Farmer City later this week making a visit. They're interested in our 20 acres as well. So it's very possible that we could have a Mach 1 gas station and a hotel out there on that 20 acres. So we're plugging away, still trying to get that thing going. The people from Cobblestone are coming up from St. Louis, so they'll be here Thursday. And then the last thing is that the guys out at the power plant, they don't get to run those generators very often, except for a monthly test. And that seems to be the issue at each of the non-generating power plants in the IMEA family. So IMEA decided earlier in 2016 to have some training for the operators. And so there'll be 3 different training sessions, February 9th, February 16th, and March 9th throughout the state of Illinois. And it's very hopeful that we can get our operators to go to as many of those as possible. There'll be technical advisors there from all the major manufacturers of the generators to go over a little technical issues pertaining to the operation, the maintenance of those generators, and then they'll actually start practicing firing them up and everything. So it'd be good training. Training is very limited because in order for us to be able to fire up our generators for training, we have to get clearance from IMEA because we're actually throwing power back into the grid, and that can be awfully dangerous. So that'll be some good training for our left-hand operators. That's all I have.
Is it the new guys or the old guys or all of them?
It would be all of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Any question to the city manager and his report?
I have a couple actually.
Yes, ma'am.
The Reynolds, it says it ended up being like $6,900, $6,896.71 according to the check that was paid out.
Okay.
Is that same
Yeah.
one? The squad car thing, you guys, how many cops are usually on at the same time? I know we have 2 full-time, 1 part-time right now, but
Well,
I don't know what's the reasoning. I hear a lot of, why do we have 4 squad cars if only 2 work at one time? And I know you have to have a backup obviously, so.
The maximum of any one time has been 3.
So, but we have, this is the 4th car you're talking about here though?
Correct.
So do we need to replace it? We just work with 3?
I guess that's a decision that you folks could make.
And the 3 works okay?
With this being a 2006, this is 2017, so this car's on its 11th year. So I say that this car has more than paid for itself. And there again, seeing how cars have been purchased over the years, since 2006, the city has purchased 1 car, and the remainder of the cars have been either with grants or through the DUI fund. I think that the city and the citizens have more than gotten their money's worth out of the purchase of a car. You don't necessarily have to replace this car right away. You can wait for your new police chief to come in, and you can throw this on his platter to see. He may not, what I did was I contacted Vito Enterprise, where the other car came from, to see what he had a car. He's got a car up there again for the same dollar amount. Police chief may come to you and want a brand new car. So, you can wait on that. But there again, I was out talking to Scott about some other issues, and he brought this to me and said to bring it up at the council meeting. So,
how old is the Ford, Scott?
Which, the one we just got?
No, because it says the newest vehicle. I was listing them. We have the Impala, the Explorer, the Ford, and then whatever the newest vehicle is.
the newest car is 2010.
So the
It'll be just like the one he's looking at, the one that we just got. This would be a 2010 also,
It'd
correct?
be a twin. It would actually, there again, it would only have 52,000 miles on it. You're replacing a car that's now has over 120,000 miles on it.
I get it. If we don't need to, I'd say wait
How old
till we need it.
so we've got the 2010, obviously the 6.
That's what I was trying to count at.
What year's the other one?
Dave Ballard's car is the one that was financed. That's a 2010. That was actually sitting on the back lot of a Chevy dealer that had been forgotten. And so we were lucky enough to get a full GM warranty with it when we bought it.
The one purchased with DUI funds.
Excuse me?
The one purchased with DUI funds. What's the age on that one? That's the one we're missing.
That's the one we just got. It's a 2010.
That's a 2010.
So that's the same vehicle listed twice in a row?
It's a used car, yes. It's a prior Department of Police car.
Yes.
Trade-in.
Yes. Shelbyville, Indiana.
Confused by the wording, then that's all.
And folks, the car was somewhere around $8,900. That's a cheap car. But quite frankly, the equipment that's in the Chevrolet is not going to work in the Ford. And so that's where you get the difference. So.
Oh, the price you pay for the vehicles is the thing. I was talking about just the amount of them. I was trying to count how many you had listed, and I counted 4 listed.
4 squad cars?
Yeah.
And this would be paid for,
That would be out of the UI fund.
so again, it wouldn't cost them.
Correct. It'll have no effect on the budget.
I'm not opposed to upgrading and keeping up, but do we need 4 cars? I mean,
I said max before.
the one you drive is not a police car, right?
No, it's not.
Okay. But we still have 4 police cars?
Correct.
There's 4 sitting out there.
That's an administrative vehicle.
Okay.
I'd be happy to let the new chief deal with it.
On that next part, the new chief thing, I thought we were getting an interim from a chiefs association thing. Is that just in help in finding, not filling in?
Well, what we ended up doing is that we put the ads in the paper. We looked at approximately a 30-day window, and so there really didn't seem to be a need to bring somebody in for 30 days with the personnel that was here. And there would have been an additional expense. So kind of, you're getting the service at no extra expense is what it amounts to. But we did reach out to Chief Finney when it comes to helping us make a good selection on the next chief. So.
And the other question I had was the utilities number for across the interstate. Do we have an idea for cost on that?
Well, we could reach out to Farnsworth and have them start pushing. I can tell you that in 1994, the city manager at the time had requested to get the utilities across there, and it was $700,000 then in 1994. So,
How long of a job is that? Sound like the question.
to do what?
How long does a job like that take? A couple months?
To get utilities across there, it could take, well, you know, that's weather dependent, so it's awfully hard to put a, I would say you could have it done within 6 months.
Did we ever find the casings?
Yes, we found one.
Okay.
Now, the only thing that casing would probably be good for at this current time, Mac, because they were put in when the interstate was built, and obviously the size of pipe for water main and sewers and everything has changed as far as minimum standards, but you could surely use that casing for the electrical conduit. You'd still have to get sewer and water out there as well. So if you keep in mind that down here on Route 54, that they did not require casing, so they may not require casing to go underneath the interstate. Down here on 54, they just allowed that to be pushed underneath the highway. And so they are allowing that at various locations. We just don't know when we would be able to apply for a permit if that would be the case out there. That would cut your costs dramatically. So,
Be something to find out.
and by all means, go to the internet and look up this Cobblestone Hotel. There's a new one being built in Paxton. There was an article in the News Gazette, I believe, over the weekend. Altamont just got a new cobblestone. They're very nice looking. They model into small communities. So it may not pan out, but they're coming to town, and I think that's a good sign.
Well, if it takes 6 months to get stuff over there, I think we need to think about it for next year's budget ahead of time, because that's just the power to get the people, you know, and then another year later before then they have to build. So we're talking 2 years out before there's something there, timeline-wise, we don't get started.
Myers was not talking that long a period.
No.
Am I correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that and Scott was privy to all this information because he just happened to be available that day, so I got him up here. But the nuclear power plant just put everything on hold.
Right.
And so, I mean, he's looking at several different locations, including Clinton. They have an option on some land down there. But he was really interested in our land out here on the interstate. So,
Is Farnsworth an absolute, you have to go, I don't know the company, but do you have to put a bid out for that type of job anyways, or?
for which? To put the utilities in? Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Someone can move on.
I won't be here, but I think that's,
So you can say yes, see, nobody can yell at you.
well, it's something we definitely need to look at pretty hard. We haven't had too many offers.
This is big. You know,
This
people
is
say
big.
that we're not doing anything to try to make Farmer City grow. This is big.
Well, it would really change the landscape if you came down the interstate and there's a Mach 1 gas station sitting there. And as you know, he said that there would be an external car wash there as well. And if we could get a hotel out there. Still trying fast food. I will tell you that our local McDonald's guy that owns 15 McDonald's, he just said that the area is saturated, so he's not interested. But I'm still working on trying to come up with fast food. So it really takes time when you start doing that. So.
Any other questions to the manager's report?
Yes, sir.
Any non-agenda items or other business?
You know, I wanted to ask about the Prairie Ridge drainage. I know the ground's froze. Are they making progress on that?
I talked to Jared Boyle Friday, and Farnsworth is, they've drawn up a couple different proposals. I don't know what they are, but they're going to start accepting bids on some different proposals for out there. Speaking with Jared, you know, he says that the way he's designed it, it's functioning, it's doing what it needs to do. But when Farnsworth came in and they talked to you folks about the concrete gutter pan and the tiling and everything, that those proposals are being taken here for bid pretty quick. So
Okay.
I don't know any deadline on any bid letting or anything at this time.
Well, we talked about the ground needing to be froze to do something. It's froze, so.
Well, and that was originally when we thought that in order to get out on top of it, the ground would have to be froze. But as we found out when Jared went out there with his hi-ho, that hi-ho walked right across there. So that was the nature of the ground having to be froze. So that was one person's opinion versus somebody else's. So.
Any other non-agenda items or other business?
I just have one. I had asked, Sandy's going to work up an amendment to amend an ordinance. I forget the number. I think it's 905 on the city manager's cap, which is what brought forth the request of adding on meetings, so that way we could be there to cover request expenses and show, good faith in it on both sides and accountability. So.
And I think Larry, I'm not opposed to that, but I think Larry probably needs more wiggle room than that. So if Larry could come up with some reasons why not to drop it down that far. I mean,
That will be, I'm assuming that is going to be on the next,
It is.
that is on the
Letting
next
know.
agenda, so we can discuss that in detail at that time. So, very good. So next meeting, in addition to that, of course, we want to make sure that the Heritage Days, the resolution is on the next agenda as well. Any other non-agenda items? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Colin?
Jenkins?
Yes.
Mars?
Yes.
Harden?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Testori?
Yes.